Welcome to One Shots, a Dum-Dums and Dice podcast where professional voiceover actors and improvisers tackle one-shot stories created in a variety of hit RPGs. I'm your host, DJ One Shot 2.0, and I'm here to welcome you to Wrath and Glory, Traitor's Hymn, an introduction to Warhammer 40k's Wrath and Glory RPG. This arc features our GM Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante, Borovic, and special guest Spencer Hipwell. What will happen when the Dum-Dums try a new TTRPG set in the grim darkness of the far future? Nobody knows, because it's One Shots, Wrath and Glory Edition.
Your dinner party has been rudely interrupted by the forces of chaos.
Nuts.
Capital.
Harold Veronius, a luxury ship bringing VIPs up from Gilead Primus to the Veronius flotilla, has encountered a bit of a problem as you were having a celebratory dinner for having a safe journey with no major events alongside the incompetent Captain Galba, the highly competent Commander Morstan Fife, as well as Lord Radovar Meldrake. The ship jumped unexpectedly into warp space. There was a rift in time-space, which resulted in the Morstan you see before you, who is rapidly transforming. There are tentacles where there were no tentacles before. His jaw is inverting and turning inside out. Gravity was briefly lost, but has reasserted itself aggressively as Morstan begins to clamber towards you with just fluids bursting from places where there are no orifices. Just like he is a walking weapon at this point. That said, our resident psyker Somnus had been preparing to Charles Xavier / Kids in the Hall head pop the captain and has instead decided to turn his head popping towards the transformed Morstan. As I mentioned in the last episode, the way initiative works in this game is we pick kind of who would likely go first. I think it makes sense to me that since he had his finger on the trigger, it would make sense for him to go first. Morstan will act, and then we'll figure out which of the two of you act next. You can spend glory to seize the initiative. So if Ryan goes and Morstan is still standing and you want to continue to draw pain on him before he reaches you, you can spend that to do it. Otherwise, we will get into it. One thing I do want to introduce, though, as we move into combat, is the Wrath Dice system. So the Wrath Dice is a different colored dice, or die rather. I always call single dice die dice. I did it again. Jesus Christ. So I've got all black dice here aside from this one red die, which is my Wrath die. All of you have one of the specially printed black die as your Wrath die. But in every test, so a test is like a skill check and anything else, you should include, it's not a separate die you include, it is simply
replace one of the existing
exactly is your Wrath die.
Okay.
If it lands on, otherwise it's a normal die unless it lands, nailed it. It's a normal die unless it lands on a 1 or a 6. If it lands on a 1, it triggers a complication on the test. So this is a narrative prompt for the player or the GM to add something to the scene. Not necessarily negative, but something unexpected and dramatic. So you don't need to think of it as a fail necessarily, just things escalate in an unexpected way. Yeah. In a test with a complication can still succeed, but it might indicate a partial success with a problematic addition. So the example I've always liked that I think the Genesis system used was if you are, there's a door, you're trying to jam the panel, so you go to shoot the panel, and you get, with complication, it's like, well, the door does, like, you blow up the panel, but it means you can't open the door again, as opposed to you hit it and the door closes and the other people are locked on the other side and you still have full control of it. So it's just something that makes, you get what you want, but it's a little worse or a little different in some way, shape, or form. If it lands on a 6, it counts as an exalted icon as normal, and the group gains +1 point of glory. If this happens on an attack test, it's a critical hit, and then we can refer to the critical hits chart for that. So basically, your Wrath die, just a normal die. On a 1, makes things more complicated. On a 6, still counts as exalted, but gives you glory as well.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Great.
Wrath and glory, if you will.
Glorious, glorious, glorious in his name.
So we're gonna do this, but as we work through this, just seeing this happen is going to require a fear test, just out of the gate. So before you enter combat, before you can make a roll, you got to see if you've got the if you're able to stay sane as you see this horrific monster charging towards you. So this is on a fear test. You use your resolve. If you succeed, you may act normally. If you fail, then you gain the fear condition, which means all tests are at a +2 difficulty until the end of the scene. That said, an ally can pass a leadership test of 2 plus the source's fear value to break that. So if your friend is scared, you can break them out of it. Okay. On a turn, you can take a variety of different actions. Basically, the way it breaks down is you can take a combat action, a simple action, which is a task requiring some attention but not full focus, such as reloading, which we won't be worrying about, or using the awareness skill to learn more about the situation. You take a reflexive action, which is an instinctive task that you can make outside of their turn, such as defending themselves using a talent. So I think that's just kind of declaring, like, I have a thing that operates off turn, and it's this. You can take a movement, and you can take a free action, which is little effort, like opening an unlocked door, shouting a warning. So similar to a D&D skill pool, basically, with a movement, a minor, or free action, etc.
Okay, cool.
We'll deal with wounds and shit when we get there. So with all that in mind, let's start with the fear test, please. So I need resolve against the transforming Morstan.
Ooh. Oh, I see it. I'm like, where's the resolve?
4 icons on 4 dice.
Great.
On 3, I got an exalted, so 3 successes total. Is that what's it called again for this?
Exalted becomes two icons.
Yeah. So I got that. So in total, 3 successes of
3 icons is what you scored.
Yeah, 3 icons.
Yep.
Yes.
And you get
only if there's excess. Oh wait, was it on a wrath die? Did you get the 6?
I thought Exalted gave us a bonus.
So the way Exalted works is if you can consider each icon as spent.
Okay.
So if you have Exalted...
so if the difficulty was 3 and you get 3 even with an Exalted, you're even. You didn't have
that's
access
correct.
carryover. Do you tell us what the DN is, or do we only know afterwards?
I don't. I will tell you...
Afterwards if we
I mean, I guess I could just tell you. It was 3. You had to beat 3. So if you've got...
so you tied it.
Yeah, so you tied it. Del, you beat it,
I failed everything, and I got a 1 on the bad dice.
Oh, no! Okay.
Uh-oh.
Cool.
And
sorry, Ryan,
I got 4 icons.
This is the jaw thing. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, not the
We
best.
were just eating. It's a whole thing.
Fruit is getting to you.
I shouldn't have had that fruit.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I think what we'll say then is the complication piece. So Honoria will gain the fear condition. So everything's going to be at a +2 difficulty for you until the end of the scene. We'll say the difficulty on the 1 is this is the first time you've encountered like a warp thing. Mm-hmm. And so just the fear cuts through. Orcs, fine. These are mortal.
Xeno stuff.
I think this challenges your very like belief structure. And I think just a little part of your brain is hung up on that heretical icon that you just have on you.
Yeah.
So just like the plus Morstan, he's like a known person. So I think the idea that someone that seemingly uncorruptible could be immediately corrupted is also a bit shaking because like your faith doesn't matter. The goo got you. So it's just like reaching for the gun. It's feeling around for it. You don't immediately have it in hand, and it slows your...
I think it's also just... in her mind, she instantly has no qualms about it, raises up the gun, shoots, and she sees that happening, but in actuality, she's just standing there.
Nice, yeah, hands just trembling. Love it. Okay, great. Cool. So we'll say that drops you to the bottom of the initiative, the initiative order. Okay, cool. So having successfully passed your fear... You're a psyker. You know warp shit.
Yeah,
this
the moment
is a Tuesday for you.
He can spot these nightmares the moment they start happening. There's no confusion about like, oh, reality's breaking, because he can see how it's going to break as it's breaking. Free action, just to yell at Galba, you got to tell him to activate the Galler Fields. He's just yelling that at the captain and smiting this Moristan.
Hell yeah.
So I am rolling a psychic mastery against the defense of Morris.
Yep.
As the
so you're
DM.
rolling against a 3.
Okay. All right, so with my attack, I have five icons. One of them was exalted. So I will use the token that is in the glory pool to add an additional mortal wound to my attack.
Okay.
I will spend my exalted to add glory carry forwards for the team because this is all in luck, and then I have to roll a d3 to see how many mortal wounds I do with the psychic attack. It is 1, so I do 2 mortal wounds to this.
Not bad.
This damned creature, as I hope the Gellerfield will be activated. And then I just want to grab my force stave and get behind the heroes. I am not a brave man.
hero.
I'm just going to get Gellerfield, activate the Gellerfields, you idiot, activate the Gellerfields.
Do you want to try and snap an area out of her fear? I guess yelling for the Gellerfield sounds like less a free action, more like...
Gellerfield's crosses everybody's thing off.
That's
If we
true.
can get
If
that,
we can fix that.
If he can't do that, we all die because eventually we will start turning into goo. So trying to keep Captain Dummy doing the actual job he needs. 'Cause
Makes sense.
Then we can clean the inside.
That makes
All
sense.
right. Amazing. So yeah, you use your psychic powers to strike Morstan, and you see like just a pocket of flesh and fluid burst out of the side of his head. On a mortal, perhaps his brain would have exploded. Not a mortal. Teeth begin to grow in the hole as he struggles his way towards you. Which brings us to Morstan. So you've scurried behind the heroes.
I was going to say, because we're not used to it. The other question is, Marius, do you want to seize the initiative and strike before the monster does? Because we have a point in the glory pool.
yeah.
You could
I
spend
was
to do
I was
that.
thinking about that because I'm like, do I maybe take a hit or you know what? Yeah, I will.
Yep.
I will.
Yeah, I'm not saying one way or the other. I just want you to know you had the option.
It's good-
You
good.
said like a psyker. You read it because I was like, I'm like, do we want to use this for something else? I'm like, let's try to avoid damage if we can.
Yeah, let's not die.
Yeah,
In the first combat
that's
of
a
the
good
game?
plan.
What? No, it's
Yeah.
fine. Blow all your spells. It's good.
that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
got no magic.
Right.
I do.
Okay.
All right. So seizing the initiative. What does that look like for Marius?
With you scampering him behind us, I kind of look to our heroic battle sister, who's currently just, you got a moment.
I'm doing a stand.
It happens, and I'm like, okay, on me. So I kind of step forward, kind of in the way, so that hopefully I'll still be at least a target if all things
Sure.
go wrong. So other than that, though, we're gonna use the bolter pistol, absolutely.
Yep.
So,
All right.
okay,
Sounds good. So that will be a ballistic skill.
okay,
You're rolling against defensive 3.
okay. 7, right?
7.
Yes, 7. Okay, so we'll get rid of that one. There we go. Well, that's already 2 exalted so far.
Whoa.
So,
Like that.
okay, so 2 exalted, and then a regular, so that's 5 successes total.
Okay, great. So you need 3 to get through. Wait, that should be more successes. So how many icons in total? So you had 2 exalted. So
2
that's
exalted
2
and a
exalted.
single regular icon. So
Yeah,
it's 5
so
total. So
5,
you'd have
yeah.
1 exalted afterwards for point spend.
Great. Yes. No, because it's defensive 3, so you'd have 2.
2 left over.
Oh,
2 icons.
Yeah.
Right?
You got 2 icons left over, and you had 2 exalted. So I mean, theoretically, your 2 exalted go forward.
Okay, yeah.
As
I
shift.
didn't know if it was per die or if it was the most charitable read of how to carry over exalted.
I'm going to say it's the most charitable read.
Great.
Oh, okay.
This is going to be bad for all involved.
I'll just let you guys do it, and I'll roll them.
That is the name of the game. Okay, cool. So let me just double check how this actually plays. Okay, so we sorted it out with some very quick reading that we edited out. But essentially, yes. So with Glory, you can spend it for immediate damage. That just you don't need to roll for it; it just happens. Okay. For rolled damage, for any extra exalted icons that you want to shift, it lets you roll to see if you can do more damage. So. Yeah.
We didn't have that with the psychic spell because the psychic spell doesn't have extra damage. It just has a D3.
Yeah.
Whereas with the literal damage, they all do. There's a little bit of chaos to represent skill and effectiveness. So your base damage plus die rolls, again, counting icons. So randomized.
Okay. So, do you want the damage first, like the initial
Yeah.
damage?
So what's the we'll assemble it all together. What's the base damage?
So the base damage is 10,
Okay.
and then
Let's see how much.
Then
gets
we've
added
got
onto
2
that.
from the shifted
I got
exalted.
it.
Oh, no.
I just got an
Hey, there
exalted
we
on
go.
the wrath one.
So you got a 6 on the wrath die,
and then
the
a regular
ED.
success, and then the one is just a 3.
Okay, so that means an additional 3.
I never thought we'd have this positive a conversation about ED.
Yeah, I know. In the glory pool.
Hey, it's allowed. It's
yeah.
okay.
It's okay to have ED in the glory pool.
It's
It's
okay.
true. It's true.
So, okay, so there's
Plenty
going to be a
of
total of 13 damage, and you get to add a glory from the
yes.
Exalted.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
And then,
All right.
Tom, a final question. Knowing this weapon is brutal, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That
Because we have
is
some
a
traits on
question
weapons.
that I will look up. So talk amongst yourselves while I quickly look up what brutal means.
Ooh, why don't we guess? That's always good to make things
Oh,
clear.
guess?
My guess is pistol means you can fire it one-handed. Maybe you could also attack with a close combat weapon. I don't know.
That would make sense, especially
makes sense.
because we both have
We
that
both have
setup,
that
and it
system going
shows
on.
the picture. And then with brutal, maybe it's like because I mean the bolt pistol explodes.
In other systems, Brutal has added bonuses to rolls on the crit table, where they're like,
Okay.
oh, it's brutal, so if you
Yes,
roll a
that's
critical
true.
hit, it just is always going to be nastier than otherwise. But I don't know. It's interesting.
Nasty.
We gotta learn so many things.
He's
We're
finding
gonna,
it.
we're gonna look at brutal and we're gonna look at pistol. And we're gonna learn.
Okay, so brutal weapons inflict appalling traumatic wounds. When you roll extra damage for a brutal weapon, results of 1 and 2 inflict 0 damage, results of 3 and 4 inflict 1 damage, and results of 5 and 6 inflict 2 damage.
It's even more
I
damage.
got a 3 as well then with
So
that.
3 and 4. What did you do?
was a
When
three
did you
and
get
four.
5 and
It was a
6?
six and a
2 of them
four.
were 5 and 6.
2 of them were a 4 and a 6.
Okay, so for your 6, it'll be 1 more damage, so it takes it to 14.
14.
Because the 6 is
Bum,
worth 2.
bum,
Wow,
Worth 3.
and that means that brutal brings the 3 into damage causing, which is fucked
Yeah.
up.
So you get that too.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Okay.
then
Today
what
we
does
learned.
pistol mean, Tom? More damage?
You summon the Emperor.
It means that it is light. It can be drawn quickly and used in close quarters, so it can be fired while engaged. So if someone
Okay.
pops the question, you can still use your pistol. But it means, if you're fighting up close, you can still.
In D&D terms, no attacks of opportunity for using a
In
ranged
D&D terms,
weapon.
you can point blank someone with it, whereas like the sniper
Good.
rifle would be like, can you lean back like a
My barrel's
meter?"
long.
Yeah, just using like a fire poker to get them far enough away. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So no extra damage for pistol.
Okay. But well,
It's-
I think we'll settle for what? 14 damage from
Yeah.
our
Yeah,
boy?
that sounds like a good start.
Yeah, great. So in the interest of us learning the game and seeing exactly how scary this man is, he will take 4 wounds from that.
Get up the Geller Fields. I got to blast him again.
So you fire your shot, and it's very T-1000. If instead of liquid metal, he was just made of gore and flesh. So it just like blows a hole in him, and then like fingers reach across and knit and kind of start like grasping and shaking hands as they pull the organs back forward, and he continues to stagger angrily towards you, screaming from the mouth and the side of his head and in his face.
Okay.
Cool. I think that's your action. I think that's what we've got.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is there anything you say to your compatriots? Do
Stay behind me.
you want to try and shake Sister
Oh,
Honoria out
absolutely.
of her
Yes.
fugue? Great. So for you then, I'm going to need a leadership.
Okay. Leadership. Oh, where are you
It's
hiding?
the one ship Gelba isn't the captain of. Am I right?
Oh, there's leadership. Okay. Ooh.
Sick bird on me.
How leadery are you?
Guy from the
3.
book.
It's not bad. It's not a 7. All right. Shit. Okay. 1 success.
Nope. Still, you get behind him.
Successfully say,
but
get
not-
behind.
Sister, are you all right? All right.
Just the blanket stare.
Keen observer of human nature, Marius being like, I assume that.
She is strategizing.
Yes.
I'll leave you to your work.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. So that brings us to
Captain Goo Man.
yeah, Morrison, who is per your request, Mara is going to lurch at you. So as he staggers towards you, he just kind of almost trips as spined tentacles burst out of his chest cavity and just kind of plunge at your face.
Okay.
Okay, so what am I? No, I gotta roll stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah, if you're trying to beat 3, I believe. Yeah.
3?
Yeah,
yeah,
for my
defense is
defense.
3. All right, yeah, that makes sense. Weapon skill. Oh boy. All right, so I'm gonna do that is Gotta mark these down because I gotta roll more dice. So that's
your weapon brutal?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Shh, don't tell him.
You know it.
That'll only matter once we get to damage, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that'll only matter in damage. So that's
his
5.
For the captain's problem with ED. We're going to fix that. That's the best.
Oh, he's using his ED
Oh,
on
man,
me.
this guy's ED is brutal.
Oh no.
Okay, so I get 5 to your 3
Okay.
Defense.
defense. Okay, so that means we'll be dealing 9 damage plus stuff. So I get +3 extra damage.
Yep. And then if your base is 3 extra damage, you also succeeded by 2, so you'll be rolling 5 extra damage.
5 extra damage.
And with brutal, they score high, just like his weapon did.
Awesome.
Well, I rolled a 1 on one of them, so that's good. So we've got a 6, which is 2, but it's brutal, so that makes it.
No, it becomes 2.
It becomes 2 instead of 1.
Normally it's
So
just 4
fail.
plus for a
Yeah,
single
yeah,
damage.
right.
Yeah.
So that's 2. I've got 2 4s.
Those are single damage. So
So
both get added.
that's 2, and then I've got a 3, which I believe
Which
is
becomes
still
damage,
1.
yeah.
So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So a total of 5 additional damage for a total of 14.
So just responding in kind.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
what you'll do then is take your take your
resilience.
resilience,
Okay.
and you can subtract that
Okay.
from the damage.
All right. So -9.
So you take 5 damage.
Yep.
So
That's very
wounds are very,
So I'll
very
do
bad in this
5
game.
out of
So if you
9.
would like, you can roll a determination check to try and turn this into shock. So shock, if
Yeah, I think I'll do
you
that.
shock is kind of how much mental trauma you can take. If you reach the limit of shock that you've got, then bad things happen to you. But if you reach the wounds, bad things happen to you. And shock is easier to recover than wounds.
Okay.
So this is less you could do this, and more you should really do this.
Yeah.
Tom, in terms because we're learning this system, is there anything that glory can do, like a glory point, because we have a glory point in the glory pool, to help with receiving damage, or is it just kind of in dishing it out?
So you can't spend anything to regain wounds. However, you can spend your wrath tokens that you've got, 1 or 2 of left. Those are the ones that let you reroll to include a minor narrative thing, or you can use them to recover 3 shock.
Okay.
So the general sense of all this is shock is, I think, similar in D&D to like temporary hit points, but if the temporary hit points could knock you out. So the idea is you want to kind of shove as many wounds into your shock as you can, because that, if you take a long, like a respite, which is basically a long rest, you can recover shock. But if you take a long break, you can't recover wounds. You can use
have to get
Medicaid
healed.
to
Okay.
maybe
I
recover
see.
one, but it's
Okay.
going to be really, really slow. So the idea would be roll your determination to see if you can maybe throw some of these wounds into shock, and then
So
hope
they're,
to recover
they're
the shock.
functionally
later.
like a superficial injury as opposed to a critical one, if you can shift
Correct.
them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way the old Star Wars game used to do this, I think it was called Vitality, was basically they're like, hey, we're in Star Wars. If you get shot by a blaster anywhere on your body, you just die. So like you can't just have HP and get shot all the time. So instead think of it as like your character dodging and everything else. So yeah, just taking the hit, but having the presence of mind to twist your body so it just brutally injures you.
Yeah. Is this breaking armor plates or your body?
Yeah. This is just tearing up shit.
Where to goo go?
Okay. So
Where to goo go?
So to roll a determination test, you roll equal to the determination on your sheet.
Which is right under your shock. Yep.
Yep, 4. So you're going to roll 4 dice, and any icons convert a wound to shock.
Oh,
So
sweet.
it's just a clean.
And can you use Wrath to reroll these if you want to?
Is it a test? It's not considered a test, so I don't.
So
it is. It is considered a test. So yes.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
So
okay, so I use a wrath to do this as
Well,
or-
no. So you just get to do this for free.
I get okay.
Yeah.
Thank God. Okay.
Yeah. The math that we'll
Okay.
run into later is
Wrath
if
would let you delete them if they are shock, but we're seeing if these become shock.
Yep.
Okay. So I have 1 exalted, and then a regular success. Okay, so 3.
Great.
Is that 3
Yep.
wounds
So
total?
3
that-
wounds become
And
shock
you've got
instead
two.
of wounds.
But
Okay.
this is where you get into the advantage. 'Cause you got
Exalted.
2 rolls that weren't successful, right?
Yes. Yeah,
So you
for
could
2.
spend a wrath point to re-roll those 2 dice to try to fish for more
I
successes.
would advise you
Or not.
Well, actually,
Depends on what he says.
I think I'm
Can
going
you
to
knock
keep them.
yourself unconscious with shock?
yes. So eventually, if you reach your maximum shock, you gain the exhausted condition, which basically means you fall over. You're still awake, but you're just like on the ground. You need your friends to drag you around.
It's like a big hit kind of.
Yeah,
idea
it just
almost.
it incapacitates you, but you're not like out of play.
Oh, okay.
So whereas if you reach your maximum wounds, then you are like bleeding out. So
okay.
So I guess the question for me in terms of turn economy, again, this is learning the system.
yeah, of course, yeah.
If he spent to roll again and hit like 5 shock, but he had another wrath point, because I think you've got 2 right now,
I have
right?
2. Yeah, I have 2.
Could he spend another point that turn to delete 3, or does he have to wait to the next turn? Because then it's like he rolls more, he ends up with less actual shock.
I think that's fine. I don't think spending wrath is meant to be an economy piece. I think it's meant to be like narratively, because this game is pretty clear in its intent that like less board game, more narrative. So yes, yeah. So if you wanted to do that, you absolutely could. The only reason I was suggesting to hang on to one is if you need to heal your shit, but I guess if you're dying, it doesn't really matter, because you can also heal. The other piece is you can also heal shock from like taking an hour break. So like a long rest will give you that back. So all that to say, wrath is harder to get than rests.
Okay.
But wounds are harder to recover than shock. So it might make sense to Ryan's
To
point.
just stack as much shock as you can. Because I'm imagining, what's your shock? Mine's 7 is my max. I'm imagining your max is
5.
5. Okay, so yeah,
You'd have to spend both to,
you'd have to spend both. Yeah, it might not be possible for you. It's interesting that I can take more shock than you, but I'm
Well, it's your mental
mental
fortitude,
capacity,
right?
yeah.
I have 5 total left that I'm
broken
trying
baby
to
boy.
convert from my total of 9 for my wounds.
Yeah.
So right now, like that would be a big hit wounds wise, but right now with 3, so then that would be, so now we have only.
You would take 6 wounds, and you would have 3 shock if you stood with it as it stands right now.
How much damage did you take?
I took a total of 14 and subtracted
9, so you're down to 5.
And
Okay,
so
so
now
you would
I'm
have
down to 5.
Yeah,
two
so just
wounds
2
and 3
wounds.
So
converted
2
shock.
wounds.
Yes, that's it.
That sounds
Fine.
pretty good to me. That's getting high up in my shock, but I think this wrath would be good to hold on a
That feels like
little
a good-
longer.
Yeah,
no, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's what I'm going to do then. So now I'm at 2 out of 5 shock, and then I've only taken. Oh wait, no,
You take 2 damage
You take 2 damage.
because you took
and
3 shock.
Yeah.
that's what it is. Thank
Yep.
you. Okay.
And you could spend a wrath point to take your shock back to 0, because a wrath point is worth 3 shock.
Oh, okay. Well,
You
I
don't
will
have
leave
to
it.
now, but you
I
can.
will leave it for now.
Good.
Possibly.
For now, I'm just gonna get effed up a little bit.
Yep. I like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you prevented the squishy psyker from exploding immediately. So,
Dear God. Dear God, that would have got so bad.
so yeah, the tendrils just snap into you. They pierce through parts of your armor. Unfortunately, scout armor has a lot of vulnerabilities to give you that stealth, and just continue to kind of thrash as they begin to like entangle around you as he kind of moves further in. Sister Honoria, you are still afeared of this.
Yes.
You have that horrible dream state moment of like, I did it, I killed him, and then he's
The
not.
realization, and now there's just a giant silhouette of a space marine in front of me, and
Yeah.
I have done nothing.
Yeah. So because you are inflicted with fear, it's +2 difficulty to checks you're doing, but you can take your actions now.
All right. Well, all she wants to do is try to get in there because even though she's afraid, it's like I will not be afraid, and she's gonna run and flank the monster coming out from behind the Space Marine, but with the chainsword out trying to get a leg. Because there's some part of this man that is still a man. So maybe if I can get down into a leg and grind in there,
Yeah.
I can upset the apple cart of this creature of darkness.
That might be the episode
My
title.
cabbages.
My cabbages. All right, amazing. So we're going with weapon skill then.
Okay.
His defense is normally 3, but because you're scared, it's 5.
Right. And can I use a wrath dice to add a dice to my roll? Is that
you can
one of the things?
use no, but you can use it to re-roll.
Just to reroll.
Yeah, to
Okay.
re-roll.
you
You
That
can
was the
spend
honor thing
glory
to add.
a dice
That's
to your
right.
dice pool.
I don't want to do that. I'll save it. So, all right. So here's my weapon skill.
Yep. That's a lot of dice.
Okay. Can I reroll the bad? At
Yeah, if
By
you
spending
anything
wrath
that's
to
failed?
re-roll.
wrath lets you
All
roll
right.
every fail.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Every fail except for a 1 on your
Well, it's
wrath
there.
die.
It's there. So I'll put that one there too.
Oh, Del.
I'm playing a game. All right. So this is not too bad. So I got a success on every single dice except for the Wrath dice, which is a 1. And I got 3, what is it called? 3 6s, 3 exalted icons.
Holy shit. Okay.
So you're at 9 successes.
9 successes.
9 success.
Shit.
And a complication.
And a complication.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So let's deal with damage, and then
So
we'll figure out
it's
the complication.
5, and I had 9, so that's 4 above it, right?
Yep.
Plus your regular ED.
And
Which
my
I'm
regular
sure is,
ED is 4.
and I'm sure it's brutal ED that you have.
brutal.
It's
ED.
brutal ED.
Yep.
The most brutal ED you can have. It's just
So
So it's base 5, and then you're rolling a fuck ton of dice to make.
it's base 10 for the chainsword, and then I'm rolling 8 more dice on top of it.
Damn.
And it's brutal.
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Let's do some math.
Okay, so
3s do single damage.
Yep.
4s do single damage as usual, and then 5 and 6 are double damage.
I can tell you if you do more than 2, you can just describe how you end this
I've done
apple
4
cart
more
monstrosity.
damage.
All right. How does this creature die?
It's cutting down and cutting off a leg, and then as he slumps forward, it's tilting the chainsword and bringing it back up through the torso. So many rooms, and then it's a big sweeping arc like a S coming back down through the back and the spine. And the whole time it's just, you will not assault a son of the emperor.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah, you rip it apart, and the two sides screech from the variety of mouths, but begin to kind of just fall, like it falls apart into squishy goo, just as both sides fall apart. It's trying to regain shape, but there's not enough to grab onto, and I'm sure your fellow agents step in and is like, brain. The Lord comes in with his shuriken pistol and is just like emptying it into the corpses, and you manage to end this monstrosity, destroying the memory of Commander Morstan, the profaned memory of Commander Morstan. So the alarms are still blaring. Obviously, Marius, you've been wounded, but you have a moment to catch your breath. Captain Galba is just aghast, covered in food, just saying he was a good man. He saved me, as any good commander should.
I'm putting a last pistol in his face and say, you got to get on the radio, and they got to activate the Geller field right now, or I will shoot you and do it myself.
I heard you. I've been yelling about it. And he passes you the comm, being you're able to put the Vox on, and on the other end, you hear Lieutenant Kalasar, who is the flight officer who kind of yelled in the initial thing, just yelling, "Sir, to the captain, sir, it doesn't matter how badly you want it. I can't get the Geller field back up. It's fluctuating. We don't know what's going on."
All right, then you got to get us out of the warp. I'm taking over. My name's Somnus. I'm a psyker, and I'm your fucking captain now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
I am the captain now.
Listen, the Navigator and the Astropath are alive, but they're unresponsive. There's some kind of mental shock. We're in warp. The field is fluctuating. You got to get to the Geller field generator and fucking figure out what's going on with it, Captain.
Yeah, fucking agreed. Okay, bye.
Wait.
Oh, wait, I'm listening for a second.
You're a psyker, right? So you know stuff about this?
Yeah, I do what I got to do.
Do you know the name Foster Ahn?
Nope.
I keep hearing people screaming that name through our comms. I don't have any information on a Foster Ahn. And slowly, like the static is getting stronger. You can tell you're losing comms quickly. Can you roll me
On a scholar? Is this a historical thing or?
No, this name is unfamiliar to you.
Oh, okay.
I can just give that to you. But can you roll me an awareness, please?
Yeah, sure.
Congratulations on your somewhat promotion.
It's a side grade for me. That is 3 successes, 1 exalted.
Okay, great.
3 icons, 1 exalted.
So you can give yourself you can shift one of those. The difficulty was 3.
Yeah.
So if you want to put glory in, you can. If you want,
Is this to figure out what's
this
the
is
check for?
you're hearing some shit starting to come through on comms.
Yeah, throw glory in the
amidst
pool then. Yeah,
static.
this is he's too focused, I think, to get
Fill
too
the hole.
clever. Yeah.
And it goes.
Get us the glory.
Great.
Yeah.
Through the static, you hear seemingly a choral chant of just in little snippets. You don't get the full thing, but you hear to service. Know the Emperor is near and always will protect us. And then sort of more static, and then holds tight his own and keeps us in his favor. That one I will take a scholar check on. And unfortunately, because this is a comm bead, only Somnus is hearing this. He can convey it to the two of you afterwards.
Okay.
But.
I rolled 3 exalted icons, so 6 icons.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's a difficulty of
protects.
3, so that means you have 3
Put 3
exalted
things
you
in
can
the pool.
shift. So
I love this pool so
the
much.
most you can have
yeah.
at any time is 6, just
Great.
as a heads up. But
Oh,
you're
okay.
only
Get it,
sitting
get
at you'll be
it,
sitting
get
at
it.
5. So
6 glory.
Wow. Thanks, Psychic Man.
well done. You are very worldly and knowledgely, Jesus. Somnus, you recognize this as the laborer's lament. It is a common sort of chant that menial laborers sing in praise of the emperor. Since you rolled 1,000,000 dice, the full. You kind of cast back in your memory to probably the various places you've been where you've heard this chant. And since you're kind of an investigator type, it makes sense to me that you would just have picked this up in your travels. But the full lament is, toil in service, workers dear, come ye now to service. Know the emperor is near and always will protect us. Though ye toil for golden throne and sweat and bleed and labor, the emperor holds tight his own and keeps us in his favor. As a psyker who is well aware of kind of the bleakness of the reality of the Imperium, it is just an empty platitude to keep the workers working pleasantly. Though you have no doubt the Emperor, keeps them in favor. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's not really a worry.
You know how this goes.
He's like, yeah, you get powers, you get fruit. You don't get powers, you get eated. Okay, so it seems like people are still trying to keep order on this dump. We got to go to the Gellerfield place. Apparently the navigator's just like unconscious or something, but probably corrupted. We got to get to Gellerfield and get that up, get out of the warp, and then kill anybody who's corrupted.
Sounds like a perfect plan. Are we all in accord?
Absolutely.
Captain Gabble, you don't get an opinion. Okay, so Captain, you in the middle with me in case we need your hand for something.
Oh, I can't possibly. I must stay here and keep order.
You're coming with.
Do you need his hand?
I am the captain.
Hold.
I am, and he straightens himself up. He's like, I am the captain of this vessel, and I report directly to Jaquel Veronius. So, unless you want to explain to him why his best captain is not being treated with accord later, then you will leave me here, and you will do your jobs.
Marius, do you want to carry him, or are we going to bring like head and a hand and guess codes?
I shall carry you.
And he just shakes his head and he says, well, I look forward to seeing whatever disbarment from your chapter looks like, because I'm sure they will be furious when I get on the phone to my old friend, my dear personal friend, Jaquel Veronius, and tell him that you're doing this. But fine, if I must be carried, make it comfy.
I throw him over my shoulder. I enjoy the view. Are you armed?
No, I have. That's what I have people like you and old what's his name, Marston for.
Is he the one who had the pistol?
No, that's the Lord Radovar Meldrake.
Okay. All right.
Who is
still here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his gun is smoking now, and he's just blasting like inferior Xenos technology.
So the guy who stepped in front and got turned into demon, was he armed?
Yeah, he was.
I want to grab that gun and give it to
You
a captain.
can't because it's merged into his arm, which is somewhat concerning. Does anybody want to roll me a check about that? Because that's not a normal thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Here's this feels like something that Somnus would be familiar with, the idea of stuff getting merged with a Gellerfield non-function, because also the wall tore open purely into the warp.
Mm-hmm.
This is
a bad room.
Should I roll because there's something additional I'll know other than that, Tom? Or is this just
Yeah, well, let's
understanding the
serve
horror
or-
of a Gellerfield being fucked up? I know, it's an annoying question to ask.
Yeah.
Should I just roll anyways, and then we'll find out?
Is there any way we can help? I don't know.
Oh. No, we can't help it. I can see it in your, I can see it in your eyes, Marius. You want to help this guy. We can't help him. He's done-zoned.
I mean you.
Oh, yeah.
I guess, Ryan, what I'd throw to you is, yeah, you can take a roll for it, I think, because like it really this all hinges on what Somnus would assume is happening. So if he's just like, "Yep, Gellerfield weirdness," then I don't know that you would think any more about it. But if you're like, "This is weird, even for Gellerfield," then
it doesn't make sense that we translated it. Like if we were in the warp and the Gellerfield went down, that makes sense. Randomly translating from being.
Well, you did jump into the warp.
But I mean, it wasn't a scheduled translation into warp travel. So like this is too. You can't fucking. There's no. Oops, this ship's in the warp now. That doesn't happen.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll roll then.
Yep. Oops, all warp fields.
Yeah. I have 2 successes. You know what? This seems fucking weird. I'm going to use one of these tokens because he's a warpy boy. So I'm going to re-roll. That's on the floor now. That sucked. I'll get it. That helped a little bit. Okay, so that is 5 icons, including 2 exalted.
Oh, nice.
All right. It is 5. 5 was the difficulty.
Yay!
Oh, yeah.
So this is unusual, obviously, and you've correctly identified that this isn't how warp travel is meant to happen. So something has clearly affected the ship to pull it into warp. However, there seems to be this isn't somewhat like the way I often think about the warp is it's like someone smudged the image with their thumb. So it's like, oh, I got gun in my arm now, and it's just because it got smeared through.
Okay.
It looks fused, like the technology was fusing with the arm in a way that is deeply unpleasant and uncomfortable, and almost created like a bioorganic situation, which is not what a standard warp deviation would do. There's something else afoot here.
This is okay. So awkward moment. We're gonna kill him anyways, so he doesn't care about Galva.
Wait, what?
And then he looks over at the Meldrake and he goes, "What's your level of clearance, bud?"
I was in charge of a planet, so very high.
Okay, great. This is very bad because the warp just doesn't do what we're seeing here. This is obliterator virus level problems. This could be. I don't know how up to date you guys are on the Chaos Gods, but Vashtor, pretty bad. Pretty bad. This is unholy and focused, not random. Whatever's happening here is very bad. We need to get to the Gellerfield.
Heretics.
Also, Meldrake, if that gun doesn't work anymore.
And unfortunately, I'll have to tinker with it some more. These damned Eldari make absolute trash.
All right, well, here you go. And he takes out his last pistol and gives it to him. And he's like, we're going to need you to go to the bridge. I don't know what's going on, but we need someone sane on the bridge.
Very good, sir. I shall serve in my best capacity. And he turns and says, you don't want to send the captain to the bridge?
Oh, God, no. This man is going nowhere other than to open doors for us. You're looking at a key.
I must say, I don't disagree with this, but if Veronius asks, I put up a hell of a fight.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah, sure. And if Veronius asks, you also read this report. And he just gives him a data slate with a copy of his execution report for the captain with all the proof of incompetence.
Great.
Very good. Well, if Veronius asks, he was like this when we found him. Just pistol whip Skelba.
I lean him down.
Yeah. And he just looks at him and says, "We are servants of the Imperium, sir, not some kind of plush luxury vessel. Remember that. As long as your short life allows." And stuffs it in his pocket, grabs a piece of bread for the road, and says,
Lord Meldrake,
Bread?
we will speak of your bravery.
"Well, I was getting tired of retirement anyway." And he just like locks the pistol and exits out a side door to kind of try and worm his way through to the bridge. Mm-hmm. I should say, as I mentioned earlier, the ships are kind of city states. This ship is the size of a city. Like
Nice.
This isn't a like just walk down the hall. There's the thing. It's a massive vehicle. So he's gonna head off that way. For you, you'll first have to make your way to the Macharian Banquet Hall. This is the second largest banquet hall, but it is sort of directly kind of in line to the Gellerfield Sanctum. It is your next port of call. So with the former captain over your arm, protesting. I assume, did you gag him? I assume that.
I think he got pistol whipped, didn't he?
He did. He's still awake. He's just
Oh,
okay.
God.
upset.
Terrible pistol whip.
Hold on.
Marius just judging it on the way out.
Bad
Oh man,
form.
that was a sick burn. I like you. Okay. Yeah, I think he'd get it. Like,
There you go. That's a wrath point. Yep.
Somnus would gag him. This guy is here
Yeah.
literally to open doors faster if
Yeah.
we need a gene code. Like, there's no purpose to him otherwise.
Right.
And now he's said that he's going to cause a political problem. Somnus is like, I need to protect the administratum on top of the guilt.
can't
So
lie
like,
to him
this
either.
guy's taking one in the head no matter what
Yeah.
happens.
So with the
we can
former
just-
captain over your shoulder, some vague plans to maybe kill him.
Don't
floating in the
waste
air.
any.
The 3.5 of you, because I don't think it counts as a full party member. The 3.5 of you exit the grand banquet hall into the ship proper. Again, massive ship, a lot of hallways, but there's a fairly clear line to the Gellerfield Sanctum. And if you want to stand any hope of surviving this warp incursion, you got to get there and you got to fix it. Otherwise, chaos will win. And with that, you set out into the Herald Veronius. Guns at the ready, psyker powers primed, and a ship full of offal to deal with.
Wrath and Glory Traitor's Hymn features our storyteller Tom McGee, along with players Ryan LaPlante, Del Borovic, and Spencer Hipwell. Special thanks to Cubicle 7 for supplying us with the Wrath and Glory starter set for this adventure. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the One Shots logo was created by Decapitated Markers at Decapitated Marker, that's MRKR. This show's theme music is Gothic Trip with Thunder Horse by Damiano Baldoni, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Cheats by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. I'm DJ One Shot 2.0. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button and show your love to One Shots.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy, Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Alex Parr, Old Man Mojo, Dragonfly, The Body Barrelers, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, The Gata Family, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Dan the Welshman, Afflicto Gaming, Aiden, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.